Hey, you can't park there. You're in my way, she shouted, marching over. Marcus turned, caught off guard by her aggression. I'll only be a second, just delivering this package, then I'm gone. She crossed her arms. That doesn't matter. This is private property and we have standards. Marcus kept his voice calm. I'm parked in the designated area and I'll be out of here before you know it. But Laura wasn't having it. Typical. You all think rules don't apply to you. Well, I'm on the HOA board, and you can bet I'll be filing a complaint. Picture this. A seemingly routine delivery turns into a dramatic confrontation between a HOA member and a delivery guy. It all started when the delivery driver arrived at a gated community, only to be met with an unexpected dose of hostility from a resident who felt it was her duty to enforce the neighborhood rules. This encounter quickly escalated as the HOA confronted the delivery guy, questioning his right to be there and demanding to see his identification. It's a classic case of misunderstanding fueled by entitlement, where one person believes they have the authority to dictate how others should behave. Homeowners associations play a significant role in many residential communities across the country. Essentially, an HOA is an organization made up of homeowners within a specific neighborhood or development. Its primary purpose is to maintain community standards, enforce rules, and manage shared amenities, ensuring that the neighborhood remains attractive and cohesive. By establishing guidelines for property maintenance, landscaping, and even architectural changes, HOAs aim to protect property values and foster a sense of community among residents. However, the relationship between residents and their HOAs can sometimes be fraught with tension. Common issues often arise over rule enforcement, with residents feeling that certain regulations are overly strict or unfair. Disputes can occur regarding everything from lawn maintenance to parking restrictions, leading to frustration on both sides. In some cases, residents may feel that their personal freedoms are being infringed upon, while HOA members may believe they are simply upholding the community standards. This dynamic can give rise to an entitlement mentality among some HOA members, who may begin to see themselves as the ultimate authority in the neighborhood. This attitude can lead to confrontations, as individuals may feel empowered to police their neighbors' behavior, often without considering the broader context. In a scenic gated community, where manicured lawns and pristine homes line the streets, the neighborhood, though beautiful, had become a quiet battleground thanks to one particularly overzealous HOA board member, Laura Hensley. Laura had earned a reputation in the neighborhood for taking her role on the HOA board a bit too seriously. She once reported a neighbor for having unauthorized holiday decorations, string lights that, according to her, disrupted the uniform aesthetic. Another time, she left a note on a child's tricycle left in a driveway, declaring it a safety violation. Residents often whispered warnings to each other. If Laura's watching, don't blink wrong. On this particular day, a delivery guy arrived to drop off a package at one of the residences. As he pulled up to the curb, his truck inadvertently blocked the view of Laura, who was enjoying her afternoon on her porch with her usual iced tea and binoculars, her self-proclaimed community watch tools. This seemingly mundane delivery quickly spiraled into a confrontation that would leave everyone involved stunned. From Laura's perspective, the delivery truck was an unwelcome obstruction. She believed that her right to an unobstructed view was being violated, and she felt compelled to take action. In her mind, the delivery guy was not just a worker doing his job. He was an intruder disrupting the peace of her carefully curated environment. "Excuse me," Laura called out sharply as she marched down her walkway, clutching her clipboard. "You can't park there. This is private property, and you're blocking my line of sight." The delivery driver, Marcus Hayes, stepped out of the truck calmly. He was a tall, steady presence, dressed in a gray polo tucked neatly into his cargo pants. Though today he was doing delivery work for a friend's business, Marcus was no ordinary delivery guy. He was a decorated sheriff's deputy with nearly a decade of experience in law enforcement. "Afternoon, ma'am," Marcus said politely. "I'm just dropping off a package. I'll only be a minute." Laura scoffed. "That's not the point. You're violating HOA regulations by obstructing visual access to the street. That is a safety issue." Marcus tilted his head, trying to remain composed. "With all due respect, ma'am, there's no regulation about temporary delivery stops. I'll be gone before you can finish that tea." But Laura's voice rose. "Don't you dare get snarky with me. I am the HOA. I have every right to file a report and have your truck towed." A few neighbors poked their heads out, familiar with the tone and volume of Laura's tirades. "Here we go again," murmured one neighbor from across the street. "Last week she accused the mailman of tampering with her begonias." What began as a simple delivery was about to escalate into a shocking confrontation that neither party could have anticipated. As Laura's voice grew shriller, Marcus made a conscious decision not to engage in a shouting match. His instincts kicked in. De-escalation, professionalism, control. "I don't want to argue with you," Marcus said, placing the package carefully on the doorstep. "I'm just doing my job." Laura stepped forward aggressively, pointing her finger inches from his chest. "You people think you can just roll in here and break the rules. Not in my neighborhood." Just when it seemed that the confrontation between the HOA Laura and the delivery guy couldn't escalate any further, a surprising twist emerged. Marcus reached into his back pocket, pulled out his wallet, and calmly flipped it open to reveal his badge. "Ma'am," he said with quiet authority, "I'm actually a sheriff's deputy. I'm off duty but still sworn to uphold the law. I suggest you take a breath." The air shifted instantly. Laura froze, her mouth slightly agape. "You're a what?" The significance of his identity was profound. He wasn't just a delivery driver trying to do his job, but a figure of authority who was trained to handle conflicts and enforce the law. Gasps and murmurs rippled through the small crowd as they processed the situation. Some residents who had been sympathetic to Laura's complaints now found themselves questioning her actions, while others expressed admiration for Marcus's calm demeanor in the face of hostility. Laura's face twisted. "You think flashing a badge changes anything? You're still trespassing." Then came the final snap. In a moment of blind frustration, Laura slapped Marcus across the face. A collective gasp swept through the neighbors. Marcus, still reeling from the unexpected aggression, maintained his composure. He calmly assessed the situation, knowing that as a sheriff, he had to handle the incident professionally. Instead of retaliating or escalating the confrontation, he chose to document the event, taking note of Laura's behavior and the witnesses present. "You just assaulted a law enforcement officer," he said firmly. "There are multiple witnesses." Laura's bravado crumbled in real time. Her shoulders dropped. I didn't mean to." "You did," said Mrs. Delgado, a longtime resident, "and you've been bullying people around here for too long." On the other hand, the HOA Laura was left in a state of shock and embarrassment. The slap, a desperate attempt to assert her authority, had backfired spectacularly. As she realized the implications of her actions, her initial bravado faded, replaced by a mix of anger and regret. The presence of the sheriff not only highlighted her entitlement, but also put her in a precarious position regarding potential legal consequences. Depending on the delivery guy's decision to press charges, she could face assault charges, which would have lasting repercussions on her reputation within the community. This event also sparked broader conversations about entitlement behavior in community settings. It served as a cautionary tale for other residents, illustrating how unchecked entitlement can lead to conflict and misunderstandings. The community began to reflect on the importance of mutual respect and understanding, recognizing that while rules are essential, they should not come at the expense of common decency. The confrontation between Laura and the off-duty sheriff made waves throughout the neighborhood. Though many residents initially heard only fragments of the encounter, the full story soon spread like wildfire, especially after the sheriff, whose name was Deputy Marcus Langford, filed an official police report. Laura's slap had legal consequences. Within 48 hours, she received a notice of misdemeanor assault charges. It was the talk of the gated community. During the police interview, Deputy Langford had kept his tone measured. "I didn't want it to come to this," he told the responding officers, "but she struck me, unprovoked, while I was trying to de-escalate." The charges sent shockwaves through the HOA board. At the emergency meeting held 2 days later in the community clubhouse, the tension was palpable. Residents filled every seat and lined the back wall, murmuring as Laura walked in, head held stiffly, flanked by two of her remaining allies. Board President Greg Torres cleared his throat. "We're here today to address a serious breach of conduct involving board member Laura Delaney," he began. One neighbor, Mrs. Patel, stood up. "This isn't the first time she's acted like a dictator," she said. "Last week she tried to fine us because my husband left a rake on the lawn while he took a phone call." "A rake?" Another neighbor, Tom from Lot 43, chimed in. "She yelled at my teenage daughter for parking her car an inch over the line. She took pictures and posted them on the HOA message board with a snide comment." "This isn't about one slap," said a neighbor during the meeting. "It's about years of controlling, aggressive behavior. We're tired of being policed by fear." As the examples piled on, Laura sat rigidly, her hands clenched in her lap. When given the chance to speak, her voice trembled. "I was only trying to maintain order. That delivery man parked where he shouldn't have. He blocked my view." "You assaulted someone, Laura," Greg said firmly. "And not just someone, a sheriff. You've embarrassed this entire community." After heated discussion and community testimony, Laura was voted out of her position on the board. They voted unanimously to suspend her from all HOA duties for 1 year, pending the outcome of the legal case. The decision was met with applause from the room. The occurrence became a pivotal moment for both the HOA Laura and the community, prompting a reevaluation of attitudes and behaviors moving forward. Laura became a recluse in the weeks that followed. She was rarely seen outside. Her once pristine yard grew unkempt, and the seasonal wreath on her door remained up long after the holiday ended. Those who passed by occasionally heard her arguing with someone on the phone or pacing loudly inside. Meanwhile, Deputy Marcus Langford continued working his route part-time. He had started doing deliveries during his off hours after his wife passed away, something to keep him busy and help cover his son's college tuition. "I didn't expect to be outed like that," Marcus told a neighbor one day while handing over a package. "But in a way, I'm glad it happened. People are more respectful now. It's sad that it took a slap to get there." Despite the stress of the ordeal, Marcus had received an outpouring of support from the neighborhood. Some residents left thank you cards on their porches. Others offered him water or coffee on hot days. One little boy, Ethan, even drew him a picture with crayon stick figures. It said, "You're a hero. Thank you for delivering and protecting." Marcus kept it tucked inside his glove compartment. It serves as a reminder that everyone has their own story and reasons for their actions. It's crucial to recognize how entitlement can cloud judgment and lead to confrontations that could have been avoided. By practicing empathy and patience, individuals can foster a more harmonious environment where disagreements are resolved through dialogue rather than hostility. This self-reflection can help cultivate a sense of community that values respect and understanding. The role of authority figures in resolving conflicts peacefully cannot be overstated. The delivery guy's identity as a sheriff played a pivotal role in de-escalating the situation. Authority figures, when approached with respect and professionalism, can help mediate disputes and restore order. It shows the importance of having trained individuals who can navigate conflicts effectively, ensuring that community standards are upheld without resorting to aggression. The confrontation between Laura and Marcus became a lasting symbol within the community, a stark reminder of how unchecked authority can spiral into conflict. It also sparked meaningful change. The HOA revised its code of conduct, added training sessions on respectful communication, and established an anonymous complaint process to prevent abuses of power. As for Marcus, he felt a renewed sense of peace doing his job. He knew that people now saw him not just as a delivery guy, but as a person with dignity and responsibility. And as he pulled up to the gates of the same neighborhood weeks later, he smiled slightly, tipped his cap, and thought, some jobs are about more than just packages. Sometimes they deliver perspective. In a community setting, it's easy to become entrenched in our own views and assumptions. However, taking a moment to consider the circumstances and feelings of others can lead to more constructive conversations and prevent unnecessary conflicts. This incident serves as a powerful reminder of how entitlement can lead to misunderstandings and conflicts within our neighborhoods. By recognizing the importance of understanding others' perspectives, we can foster a more respectful and harmonious community environment. The delivery guy's identity as a sheriff not only changed the dynamics of the confrontation, but also highlighted the importance of having trained individuals who can mediate disputes effectively. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful tales of resilience and justice. Your support allows us to keep delivering valuable insights and stories that inform and inspire people everywhere. Thank you for watching Work Story, and see you in the next one.